The Big Issue. Breaking down the issues that matter.
Good day. Welcome to another fresh edition of your current affairs program on Leadership Television, The Big Issue. My name is Winifred Bebo, your host on the program. And of course, beside me in the new studio is Leadership News Analyst, Sunday Isuwa, PhD. Sunday?
It's nice to be here.
Nice to be here too. Nice to have you in the program. We also have another leadership analyst joining us virtual. He is Paul Owadima. On today's The Big Issue, we are looking at National Assembly emoluments and matters arising. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo criticized the National Assembly for fixing their salaries and allowances, describing it as immoral. He said it's the duty of the Revenue Mobilisation, Allocation and Fiscal Commission (RMAFC) to determine what office holders earn. The issue has continued to generate controversies over the monthly earnings of federal lawmakers. Senator Shehu Sani has maintained that he received 13 million naira during his time as a member of the 8th Assembly, while current members of the 10th Assembly receive 21 million naira monthly. Senator from Kano, Senator Kawu Ismaila, confirmed that he receives 21 million naira monthly. In this episode of The Big Issue, we look at the moral justification for the payments when Nigerians face hardship and hunger, especially when the minimum wage is 70,000 naira. So Sunday, of course, before you came here, you were also correspondent in charge of the National Assembly, especially the Senate Chamber. What is your view on this?
Well, covering a place like National Assembly, you get to know a lot of things, and you see a lot of things firsthand in terms of making laws and all that, in terms of approvals and all that. And when Obasanjo raised this issue, I expect that President Olusegun Obasanjo should know better than any other person. But sometimes, these leaders, they know beyond what other people know. On paperwork, National Assembly cannot set salary and allowances for themselves. It's the work of the Revenue Mobilisation and Fiscal policy. So so if a former president said that the National Assembly is setting up their own allowances, yes, it's very disheartening, because we know that this Revenue Mobilisation, Allocation and Fiscal Commission is the one in charge.
Although they came out to say that they are paying Senator 1.2 million naira.
Actually, I'm telling you, if Nigerians should follow what the Fiscal Policy Commission have set aside, I think a lot of people will not want to join politics, because it is not the salary and allowances of the senators that amount to 21 million or 29 million. No, their salary is about 1.2 or so, and so if they do some deductions, they may not get up to that amount. Yes, but
however,
this money that are supposed to be for other Nigerians, domestic staff, constituency staffs, and all that, most of these senators, they don't have those offices. Yes, they will tell you that they have constituency office. Follow them and check those places.
In other words, they are collecting that money.
They are collecting
into their own pocket.
That's the problem with our country. In United States, I've read a book about the U.S. Senate, and one Senate leader, a former Senate leader in the U.S. Senate, he narrated how he spent his money. They pay them the same way they pay the Nigerian senators. Yes, that is to say, they will give them their salaries and allowances, newspaper, everything. Yes, they pay to them, and they use that money for what it is meant for. But for our Nigerian politicians, some of them will even collect transport overseas allowances, without even going to those places, and they will look for they will forge papers just to make sure that they retire the money. But I'm telling you, Nigerians should follow up. These monies, yes, these monies are sent to them, but are these monies their salaries and allowances? No, because the revenue mobilization have already stated what every senator should get. But the senators, in their defense, because the Senate spokesman Yemi Adaramadu, he came out to say that it's actually not salary or allowances, that issue of constituency allowances are involved. Yes, issue of oversight functions are involved. Yes, but why sending those monies to a senator's account directly? If the senators are not using the money judiciously, why not every staff a senator engage, why not collect the data of this person and be sending their money to them? But they have given the senators the privilege of getting those monies, and most senators, they don't employ staff the way they should employ, and it's also contributing to lack of jobs in Nigeria.
Yeah. I mean, there are insinuations that most of these lawmakers, they collect this money even for their aides. They don't even have the number of aides that's required for the money they are being given. They just collect the money on the guys that they
honestly, so some of them use their children. Yes, they will just send lists of their children, their wives, and few of them make appointments, but most of them don't pay their aides more than 50,000 naira in a month.
But however, going down memory lane, it will be recalled that during Obasanjo's time as president of the Federation of Nigeria, when this issue came out, he was the one that even rose to the defense of those lawmakers then, that they have a constituent, that when they go, their constituents expect so much from them. So one begins to wonder, why is it coming out now?
Can you repeat the question?
It will be recalled that during President Olusegun's time as president, and when this issue of money first came out, this emolument, huge homogous amount, he rallied to their defense that yes, when they go home, they use money to campaign and win elections. That when they go home back to their constituents expect so much from them. So he justified actually the pay rise that they were giving then.
Yes. The problem with our politicians is that if you are in office, you don't think like an ordinary man. You don't think that tomorrow you will be out from that office. Obasanjo was making such statements to get them approved laws that will favor him. You remember the issue of the third time? Yes. And all that. Even the Obasanjo that is talking, most of the times from what we gather, because I was not at the National Assembly at that time, but those who were there confirmed to us that most of the presidential communication that Obasanjo was sending to the National Assembly, they were not just papers alone. They also, give out some money
during his era that Ghana must go.
Yeah, so Ghana must go. We are flying. So I don't think he has justification concerning this issue.
However, before we continue, there is a lineup of the emoluments. I don't know if they can put it up for viewers to see. You have basic salary, about 2 million plus. We have a hardship allowance, 50%. We have constituency allowance, furniture allowance, newspaper allowance, wardrobe allowance, recess allowance, accommodation, utilities, entertainment, personal assistant, vehicle maintenance allowance, leave allowance, severance gratuity, motor vehicle allowance. These are huge, and you begin to wonder. 70,000 naira was just approved as minimum wage for civil servants. Now one begins to wonder why politics has become a do or die affair in the country. What do you see as the way out of this? Because obviously the senators or the lawmakers, they are not willing to even shed some of these allowances they are being given in view of the hardship and hunger in the land. What is the way forward?
The way forward is for the revenue mobilization and Fiscal Policy Commission. What they should do is that they should ask the National Assembly Service Commission, because they are responsible for these payments that we are talking about, because the money is approved from the budget, then they send it to the National Assembly Service Commission. They are the one in charge of payment of staff and all that. So they should ensure that just as they are paying the National Assembly staff, those who are in the bureaucracy, not the politicians. You know, we have two sets of people there.
Yeah.
We have the civil servants and we have the politicians. So they should ensure that the way they are paying the civil servants, anybody working with a senator, they should be the one paying it. Then payments that should go to senators should only be their salaries, allowances, and what they get from either oversight functions and all that. But if you are making payments, it should not be that you just package everything, send to this senator. Most of these senators, some of them are not even paying their domestic staff well. They pay them even below
what is given to them.
Below the what did they say? The minimum wage. Yeah, you know.
Now, Sunday, we are going on a break. When we come back, we have to look at the moral justification for these lawmakers to continue taking in these salaries and allowances. Don't go away. Stay tuned. Did you join us? Yes, welcome back. The program is The Big Issue, your current affairs program on Leadership Television. I've been in the studio talking with Sunday Iswa, leadership news analyst, PhD, and he's been shedding light on the senators, lawmakers generally, and their allowance, bogus allowances, which has continued to generate controversy all over the place. Now I have Paul Wadima joining us virtually. Paul, good evening.
Yes, good evening. Can you hear
Paul,
me?
good evening.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Good evening. Now, I want to find out from you, what is the moral justification for these lawmakers to continue to end these bogus allowances when Nigerians are in hunger and facing hardship? Oh, we lost him there. I think there's a network issue.
Yeah.
So, what is the moral justification?
Well, there is no moral justification.
And to think that Sunday, it took them a long time before they can even get to approve the 70,000 naira minimum wage for civil servants. They were even telling civil servants to just beg that the country is going through a lot, whereas they are collecting their own. Is it morally right?
These people collect hardship allowance.
You see?
Yes, they collect hardship allowance. Even during Buhari, they were still collecting it. During that time that we were having a recession, or what did they call it? Yeah. So they were collecting hardship allowances, and till today they are still collecting. But
everybody's expected so much from former President Muhammadu Buhari, thinking that his body language will actually make these lawmakers to pipe down and reduce their. But that was not the case.
You know, we have made our politics so expensive. And so for every politician who get into office, he's not thinking about what he will do to develop the country, to help in the development of the country. All they do is to see how they will recoup more money for the next election. You know, so if we know that this is their salary. Let only their salaries and allowances be sent to their account. Any money that involve other staffs and all that, those monies should be sent to those staffs. Because if you continue to send these monies to senators, some senators will not pay their staff the way they should. And so in that manner, this issue of minimum wage, it will just be a song without any meaning.
All right. We also saw a situation this president government in place during his tenure, the money that was earmarked to buy these lawmakers four-wheel drives, SUVs, which also rankled with majority of Nigerians. What can actually be done? Because the higher it goes, the higher they give so much.
You know, the truth is that the lawmakers, they actually need vehicles.
Okay.
Yeah, they need vehicles. You know, even in our offices we have official vehicles. So these are public officers, and so they need those vehicles for oversight functions and all that. A minister today, if any minister is appointed, he has vehicles, not less than 4 vehicles, apart from backups. A minister, yes, but a senator is just getting 1 vehicle. I think that is not too much for them, but they should select vehicles that are less expensive, vehicles that can serve them better, and they should also go for vehicles that are being assembled in Nigeria. In that, you improve your economy, but you carry such a huge amount of money to purchase vehicles outside the country. You know, you are killing your economy.
Yes. So
in as much as they need these vehicles, we should prioritize what types of vehicles do they want or do they need. Yes, because if we talk about the vehicles they want, honestly, the country will pay a lot for it, as we are just paying now. But they should go for vehicles that are durable, vehicles that can serve them for the period that they will be there. You know, it should not be that vehicles that are too expensive, when the economy is struggling, you are still taking money from that economy out of the country. Then you are not ready to grow. So politicians, public officers must make sacrifices at this moment.
All right, thank you so much. Now, Paul, are you back? Can we have your thoughts, Paul?
Can you hear me? That's the challenge. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now perfectly.
You can hear me?
Yes, continue. Continue.
We can hear you, Paul.
Okay. View is a bit different, in the sense that we are so fixated with the emoluments and remunerations of lawmakers. Nobody talks about what the president is collecting, what the president and all the people at the presidency, including all the army of special assistants, senior special assistants, these are unelected people, how much they are collecting. And that ought to be of concern also. Let us not make the lawmakers the expensive government in Nigeria. The executive, we must also interrogate what they are collecting. The army of senior special assistants, special advisors, unelected people collecting humongous salaries that we don't know what it is, need to also be investigated, need to be also looked into. And then, of course, we have to look at the cost of our politics. Take, for instance, for you to buy form, political parties are selling forms 50 million. Nobody will pay 50 million naira and spend over 1 billion in campaign and come to Abuja and be collecting 70,000 naira minimum wage. We have to be realistic. Look at the coming local government election across the country. You know that the Inter-Party Advisory Council has raised the alarm about states like Kano State that is collecting 10 million naira for chairmanship local government chairmanship form, 5 million now local government chairmanship candidates, they are collecting 5 million naira for declaration of interest form in Kano, Kaduna, several states like that. So it shows you how expensive our politics is. And I keep saying it, that as long as we have made our politics so expensive and it goes to the highest bidder, anybody expecting that lawmakers will come to Abuja to collect peanuts is not getting it right. Nobody will budget 1 billion, 2 billion to come to Senate to come and be collecting anything less than millions of naira as remuneration and what have you. Because there will be no incentive to do that. And do not be deceived. Nobody is coming to Abuja to serve Nigeria. Not even in the presidency. None, not a single one of them is coming for individual interest. It is all about their personal interest because they have invested so much. And we don't have a system like United States where the people will sponsor you. Now, if you do not have enough support, you fall out of the race. But in Nigeria, through your pocket, you pay through your pocket. People sell their buildings. People collect loans in bank at exorbitant rates to be able to contest for Senate. So anybody who is thinking that senators is coming here, they are coming to Abuja to come and do them favor, the person is getting it wrong. What I have suggested every time I have an opportunity is that political parties should not be allowed to sell declaration of interest form for any position more than the minimum wage at that time.
So if we fix that, then like the revenue mobilization, those who seek who fix salaries, then it should not stop at just fixing salaries. They should ensure that they follow it up and ensure that this law is followed to the latter. And the agents of government like the National Assembly Service Commission should also ensure that these staffs whose salaries and allowances are sent to senators' account, they should get it directly. These are the ways forward. Then we should also ensure that our politics is not monetized. So our politics is too expensive. Where if somebody see you, vying for a political office, the next thing they think is that you are going to make money. But politics is to serve, it's not to make money.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to have you on the program, Sunday.
Thank you so much.
To have you some other time on the program.
So
well, viewers, this is where we draw the curtain on today's The Big Issue. On today's program, we'll be looking at NASS emoluments and matters arising. My name is Winifred Ubebo. I also had a leadership news analyst joining us virtual, Paul Wadima. Till I come your way again, same time, same station. Have a beautiful day. Bye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio.